So do we want a brand new game so we see the beginning with baby Aloy? So that takes a long time.
It does. Well, you can do the new game plus where you skip the baby.
Where it begins as um, right after her leaving, or right getting ready to do the proving.
Yeah, I think that would probably be best. Because that's where you actually get into gameplay.
Alright.
Because the baby Aloy is cute, but not really.
So we'll load into her here. I'm going to put her in her beginning outfit.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Are you doing New Game Plus?
That's what I chose. Because then it doesn't... Though, the way they do New Game Plus is weird. You have to, like, create a New Game Plus save, so it's going to be my old New Game Plus save that I created before I started Frozen Wilds. Because now she's at a higher level in Frozen Wilds than I was before.
Mm.
Not a big deal at any rate. So we're here to get footage.
So you're going to be level 50.
Yeah. No.
Oh, you're going
because she's lower. I'm level 50 now in Frozen Wilds. But you need to open that save, create a New Game Plus save, then load that save. Yeah. It's confusing. It's a silly way to do things. But yeah, and you don't have to like talk directly like what's happening on it.
Rost?
Because yeah, as you can see, she's in her
Karja.
the Karja, end of the Karja one.
Rost?
I'll get quick footage of like the beginning without New Game Plus.
Where is he? 2 days before the proving and he goes off without me? He wouldn't do that.
Let me put her into her new outfit. So yes.
Alright, this is Horizon Zero Dawn.
I would say probably easily one of the top games of the year. I think it'd be hard pressed for people who've played it to not agree with this. I mean, it's just such a gorgeous out of nowhere game, and in a sea of sequels and series, it is a brand new game.
And it's really unique too because of honestly because of the main character. It's this powerful female character, and she's not hypersexualized. She's not got like any love interests necessarily. She's just this really powerful, awesome lady who's got awesome skills, which I really appreciate and is very refreshing in a game.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're talking about things like that, there's been discussions in the past of how female protagonists, usually they try to do things to not showcase that the game has a female protagonist, unless that female protagonist is like the draw in a sexy way. You know, they'll put them on the box art. Then, if they're in revealing clothing, like there's no small shortage of boxes you can find that just have them in skimpy clothing showing their butt. But if they're a normal character who's just like a good design character, they usually don't put them on the box too often. There was a discussion about how in some countries they wanted to take Ellie off the box of The Last of Us, and Naughty Dog wouldn't let them. And because in a lot of countries, of course, it's like, no, we don't want a woman on the cover, no one will buy it. And then even in America, there's some degree of talk like that. And then you have this game come out of nowhere from a studio that is well established. They've typically made Space Marine shooters in the past, very different from this. So there was kind of a trepidation that they would be able to figure it out, how to do it so well. And it's amazing to see.
And one thing, I mean, we're looking at Rost's here, his face and the hair and the expressions of these characters, which, I mean, it's amazing and phenomenal, some of the facial expressions that they have. And some of the characters look even more realistic than others. There's some that we come across that I'm like, wow, that feels like somebody I've run into on the street.
Yeah. I do think that there's some characters who have better faces than others. There's some where it becomes obvious that some people got better treatment than others. You'll talk to random people in town, just like merchants and things like that. But then actually sometimes you'll talk to a merchant who has the best. Like I think I can go and find him.
The first merchant I thought was like one of the most impressive merchant faces. I was just like, holy cow, that feels like someone we know.
Right. And then this, not just into that, but you have this great character, but sometimes a great character can get lost in a mediocre story, which I don't think has happened here at all. This story ends up being quite surprising in its twists and turns, and they don't really pull too many punches. I mean, the long story short about this is a post-apocalyptic game. It's a post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. It's after it's the rebirth after apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, without going into deep detail, this is the society that we know existed in the past of this game. This is Earth, and it was destroyed. You know, through series of events that you learn as Aloy goes to discover the secrets of her past. She finds how intrinsically tied her fate is and isn't. It's a strange thing, because she's special because of a thing that shouldn't make her special, but finds out her quality while doing it, you know?
I think another thing that makes me feel really connected to this game, spoiler alert, is the location.
Ah, yes. Yeah, this one's a special one for this, so if you don't want to know where Horizon takes place, skip forward about 2 minutes or so.
So, the location of this story is in Colorado, and that's where we're at. And so it's really cool to see locations as they've changed and been manipulated over time. I mean, it's not the same Colorado that we know, but there's still definitely little moments of recognition where we're like, hi, I recognize that. And it's just so cool.
Yeah.
And also just really cool for me, since I decided to cosplay as Aloy. It was really cool to get to go up to the mountains and do some photo shoots as Aloy.
Yeah.
In an area where, like, it's just directly from the game, but it's also directly from real life, which is just a really cool experience.
Yeah. And this winter we definitely need to go out and make sure we get some in the snow. Well, a lot of this game takes place in a desert area or more mountainous forest tundras. A good portion of it also takes place in snow.
Especially with this new expansion.
Yeah, there was a new expansion that's only very recent. This game came out near the beginning of the year, in March of 2017. And here near the end of 2017, the first and only expansion I've learned has just come out. Taking you even further north to a very snowy landscape, very much Yellowstone and Wyoming, Tetons area. I mean, and just things like this. I mean, like the way she can animate.
Yeah,
the
balance.
The expressionality.
I mean, and I think the thing that then makes this location even more realistic is how she interacts with the world around her, which is so different from any other game, even with like Breath of the Wild's having just come out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interaction there, but in this one you move through the water and the water moves around you. You you have you walk in snow and you uncover grass underneath the snow.
The level of detail that they put in to make the world a
monster knocks over a tree and it comes crashing down towards you.
Yeah, you think you might be safe hiding among the foliage, and then they just come crashing through, destroying everything in their path to get to you.
Now that we're getting to a fighting scene, not that these are challenging at all, these ones, but of course, anyone who's played this game realizes how challenging some of the fighting can be.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, when we first started up, I started up in hard, and about halfway through, just out of desire to get through the story, because it was so compelling, we decided to kick it down.
Normal.
And then they cleverly added a few bonus things for New Game Plus that you can only get if you beat it on hard, particularly face paint. And there's been some good post-game support. I mean, I don't believe New Game Plus was in at the beginning, and they added it, I'm pretty sure.
They did.
For free. And yeah, and I said there's only one expansion, which just came out, the Frozen Wilds, and it was even...
Did that cost money?
It was $15. It's $20 normally, but it was on sale for $15 for PlayStation Prime owners, which is nice.
But you had to have had the game before, correct?
Yes, definitely. Of course, we have these fires all over the place. Get some more facial.
You have the firearms.
I do.
Oh right, I already have fire arrows because this is
Good idea.
New Game Plus. All right, let me go make sure that I can go find this this one merchant with the great face.
He is on the outside, so he's not inside the village. So.
Right. Let's see here. He's somewhere up here. But yes, I mean they've created a very complex culture. This is in this post-apocalyptic world they've reverted to tribal societies, very tribal. I mean everyone kind of in one of the criticisms I've seen levied, it's the tribalism draws a little too close to real tribalism, which shouldn't really happen the same way. I mean, the Banuk are very Inuit.
And
The Karja are very imperialistic, kind of Asian. And then the Oseram, I guess the Oseram kind of skew a little bit. The Oseram kind of feel to me the most real. I don't know about you. Because the Oseram feel like just like very diverse people who didn't seem to fit anywhere else. Who all just like to...
Well, they feel Nordic, is what... Or like Norse kind of tribal like that, because they, they end up becoming the merchants. And, I don't know, they just feel...
The merchants, mercenaries...
They feel more like
They like
what
to
you
blow
would
stuff up.
honestly call like the barbarics of Roman times sort of style.
Here, let's see. Is this the guy?
Maybe Turks. I guess probably Turks.
Here's our guy with one of my favorite faces.
Yeah.
Well.
Very Ben Kingsley.
Surprised you saw me the way you keep looking.
A good characters throughout, and
Careful there.
I wouldn't consider this a spoiler. They also go against one trope that happens with most
I guess that concludes our
female protagonist games, is even then with the female protagonists they give them a love interest or someone who ends up feeling to do things for them in a way, or someone that they become dependent on. And throughout the game, multiple people of both genders and all races seem to fall for Aloy.
It's true.
And she's friendly, but she never seems to reciprocate. She never does reciprocate in any way, which is fine, because she has a much bigger quest going on throughout the story of this game.
Granted, I see that as a little bit of a way so that we can be placed in Aloy's character. She is a little bit of an empty vessel in some regards. She doesn't have... I mean, she's a very serious character. She has some like snarky attitude sometimes, but she can be like she doesn't have like this bright personality that you recognize right away.
Definitely not.
She's more of somebody that you could place yourself
Yeah,
in.
it's another aspect that I was talking about earlier, where she is kind of a not even close to a dull character, but she's a slighter character. She's not written with broad strokes. She's written a lot in her interactions and the way that she treats people. And they go to a long way to showcase that she's not afraid to do what's right when bad people are doing bad things. You know, she's not going to tiptoe around like the justice or trying to figure out a mediation. You know, a lot of times, no, she'll just be like, oh, these are the bad people, and they need to be stopped.
And while some of the dialogue in this game, you know, you do have options as to
Yes.
how to play her off.
Particularly, it's like talking with her heart, her brain, or her strength. So it's usually like she'll say like something harsh to someone, but it's a harsh truth. You know, she's never mean without cause. You're never able to do it that way.
But even with those options, I still feel like her character of being a very strong, independent person who isn't afraid, like, doesn't run away from anything.
Yes.
That no matter what you choose, how you choose to play her off, that's how she's going to end up looking.
Yeah. That's a big quality of her character that I found to be most endearing. And, you know, the main crux of the story does revolve around her in a way. But it's an amazing, it's interesting in a way because she was born into a destiny, but it's the character of Destiny in a very sci-fi way. You know?
Yeah.
It's not who she is, but it's
Where she comes from.
Where she comes from.
That carcass. What sort of beast was that?
I think it's interesting talking about the tribes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like her tribe is the
Nora.
most, honestly, the most childish.
Yeah, they're very secluded. I mean, they live in a secluded area that's cut off from kind of the rest of the greater world by mountains and a large gate.
Yeah, and they keep to themselves, and they're very, they end up worshipping things. It's really interesting because Aloy is, it's really interesting as the story progresses pretty early on.
Yes.
Aloy discovers, like, this Nora tribe that she really wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, I forgot that is kind of a key thing, is that
And
she is in exile at the beginning of this game.
And the Nora, she ended up realizing, like, this desire that she had for her entire life was so, like, honestly, that they were childish and stupid.
Well, it's yeah, they do they swerve. The story goes places that was very unexpected to me. There's a lot of the design of the early story that feels very young adult novel. You start off very early, like, okay, I see, like, the Hunger Games tropes. I see the young outside girl who wants to be in girl. They have a bully character. They have a friend character. Mm-hmm. And then, without a second thought, they immediately throw all that away very early on. And then they very, very quickly paint you to show you this is a different story. And they're not afraid to pull punches. I mean, and it's clever because they draw some characters that are very intriguing and bright, and you expect to see them more because they are more detailed and have more thought put into their character design and voice and everything. And then they're gone. You know, they're not in the story anymore. And, you know, the game starts going into very different places.
I didn't bring you here to answer questions, Aloy. I brought you here to deal with that.
Alright, I think I'll load into a...
Where we get to the bigger world.
Yeah.
But you can see, I mean, look at that aspen tree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just
Yes, as people who've grown up around aspen trees, I can say that those are quite realistic-looking aspens.
This hunt is yours to make, Aloy. Yours alone.
I mean, yeah, and just the environment design in this is... So basically what it seems to be is it seems to be the Front Range of Colorado, which is like your Denver area, a little bit northern of there, and then into kind of Wyoming, southern Wyoming, Yellowstone area.
a little bit of Utah too.
Utah, and
Because
then
I think we get to Bryce Canyon at one point.
Well, and then to the... Yeah, that's to the west. Once you then go into the west, then you start getting into, Bryce Canyon, a little bit more of the deserty...
Monument Valley.
Monument Valley type. All right, so let's head back to the main here. I might have done the same mistake that I did in the past, where I might have accidentally. Don't worry, but I'll be able to.
Oh, I hope not.
No,
No,
they're
because
here. They're They're here.
you specifically did it.
Yeah, I remembered specifically.
Are you gonna show some of the
Yeah, this will be the one.
winter or
I'm gonna jump around a little bit here.
Okay.
And and I'll show off a few of the costumes that we have as well, just to kind of showcase the different intricate designs. It had been so long since we'd been in that standard Nora outfit, I'd forgotten how much I liked it, although I know Kaitlyn stared at it more intently for longer periods of time.
I literally would load into the game and just like pose her a couple different times so that I could get the exact details.
Yeah, and speaking of posing, the photo mode is so fun in this one. It's so easy to find yourself in the most picturesque of situations, and it's a very powerful photo tool. You can put Aloy into dozen plus poses and
make her look at the camera,
make her look at the camera, look away from the camera. You can take her out of the scene entirely.
You can change the time of day.
Change the time of day. You can put filters on it. You can change the focus depth. It's wonderful. It's amazing that they put such a nice photo tool in. And it seems to be a common thread now. I mean, now even Mario Odyssey has photo mode. Uncharted's had a photo mode and things like that. So, I mean, these games are gorgeous, outstanding, gorgeous.
I mean, when I look at Horizon Zero Dawn, I see a work of art.
Yes.
The
craft
and I
that
think
went into it.
There's a lot. I mean, yes, there's realism, which is beautiful. The realism is beautiful, but like, it kind of makes you appreciate how beautiful of a place Colorado and Wyoming, these gorgeous places are. Like when you get to see it from a different perspective in a video game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a deeper appreciation for the beauty of the outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, these are primarily what coastal folk call the flyover states. The states that you never really... I guess Colorado is more one that people come to for skiing and things like that, and people go see the Grand Canyon
and people go see Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, for sure. I guess the flyover states are more like Mississippi and Kansas and Nebraska.
Yeah, and they're worth flying over.
And they're
Sorry.
worth flying over.
Sorry for those of you who live in Kansas, but you probably agree.
I've driven through Kansas once. It's starts with corn and it ends with corn. And
billboards.
And billboards. Corn and billboards.
Jesus.
Number one commodity there. All right, so now I've quick loaded back in to my favorite location, which is Red Rocks, which is an actual location here in Colorado.
Yeah, this is a really cool stadium.
It's possible you've even heard of Red Rocks because multiple bands.
It looks like this. Like it's so cool to see this place, and I love that the rocks are still exactly the same.
Yeah.
But the buildings are all crumpled and gone. The stadiums have crumpled.
Let's see here. Let's go back to her
card. Yeah.
As you can see, just the different designs of the costumes are so good.
Yeah, the fact that they did go for tribes, they also made each tribe have a very unique style.
Yeah, funny enough, I don't
In
think
terms
I never
of
bought any Oseram.
they look. I think it's also really cool because the tribes are not necessarily based off of races.
No, yeah, that it gets a little gray in that area just because you do have like the Banuk who very much seem to skew Inuit culture, but then they are diverse, and every tribe has there's no racial boundaries.
But I think that also comes from knowing when you beat the game, you recognize where that comes from.
Yes, yeah, yeah. This is a game where a lot of things are there for a reason.
But so it's not like they're just being like, oh look, we're all equal, blah blah blah. No, there's actually a purpose to it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the tribes is a former like kind of raider and pillager, you know, and you get to see what their society is like, trying to like change that image. Yeah, and there's Denver. Ostensibly.
Yeah.
I will note Denver is not anywhere near the mountains. It's a good 60 miles.
Yeah.
50
no.
miles from I guess probably around more like 20 miles.
There's also not that like striking of a huge building.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's like they visited Denver, but then they just had pictures and
they have some leeway in that society. I don't count this as a spoiler. Society ostensibly fell around 2046, around like 2046, 2049, something like that. So it's a good couple decades in our future that you can say like, oh yeah, well, the cityscapes changed enough.
That's another thing that's really interesting about the story is that you don't really I mean there's a lot to the story. There is so much you can get involved with and so much detail and writing that went into it, and there's lots of different things that you find little recording devices. You find that have different people's stories that she reads with her little focus, which is the little machine that she has in her ear.
Yeah.
That she's able to see things. Yeah. Which is what makes her special in the first place, is that she picked this up, and this is like it's the Bluetooth of the future.
Yeah, it's apparently something that everyone had in the old days.
And it
allows her to see things of the world, the mechanical world that other people aren't able to.
So.
And then she has this staff that allows her to take over robots. Now this one's my best friend. As you can see, this wheel that I keep bringing up here is your equipment wheel. It's very good. Like, you do have limited equipment, but at any point you just open this wheel, the game slows down, allows you to craft whatever you need in the pinch, and then you're just immediately to go back into it. But it still keeps the game tense as you have a giant creature, bearing down on you at the same time that you're trying to create the weapons that will help you destroy them. But I mean, just look at this sky.
There is a lot to this game. Sometimes I think almost overwhelmingly so, in terms of there's a lot of places that you go to that you can take over in order to get more overdrive power so that you can take over more of these machines.
Yeah, and they're like challenge-based caves.
There's different towns that you go to, and they have tons of different characters that have little side quests of collecting stuff. So in a way, it reminded me of like the Zelda format.
Yes, there's a lot of Zelda DNA in this, but in a very different way, and that's a good thing. You know, you're not getting a new piece of equipment which allows you to go someplace new, which allows you to get a new piece of equipment, and you know, rinse and repeat. And you know, neither was Breath of the Wild this year, which we'll talk about another time. But even without, you know, like this is an answer to an old Zelda style of exploring dungeons and going on a grand quest. You know, any good action adventure game has that pedigree in some way or another. And again, they just do it so right in this first go that I can't wait to see how they even try to perfect it and make it better in the inevitable sequels. You know, the game, that's actually one of the nice things about this game, I think, is it wraps up its own story. There is teases for the future, you know, in the game, but I think more or less you feel satisfied with the story by the end. I did, at least.
You get answers to the questions that you really had.
Yeah, the mystery of the world is pretty solved. You know what happens to the world.
But that doesn't mean that it's not intriguing. Like knowing what happened in the world does not make the world any less intriguing. Yeah. And, you know, there's lots of room to see what they do later. You know, they create a system of the world that exists now, and you can easily see them expanding on that. I mean, you know, a lot of what they talk about are the tribes of this area, and, you know, the rest of the world is out there. It'd be amazing to see them travel to further places in the world to see what's happened in, you know, the far west coast or the east coast. You know, it's all one land, so it's not impossible to think of her just traveling real far. I think it's also really cool that this is... Oh, look, there's the clock tower.
There's the clock tower.
Here's the
Mile
stadium.
High.
So close together.
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting thing as somebody, you know, I'm not really a player. I'm an observer.
Player.
Yeah. But I watched this entire game.
Yeah. It's always exciting.
So, as somebody, I mean, I liked Breath of the Wild. I like a lot of the other games that came out this year. And there's some really gorgeous artwork and visuals. But this one, I think it's just because of how this is an open world, but there is so many surprises around every corner.
Yeah, and I didn't do a lot of them even during the course of this game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of collectibles I can bring up here.
Yeah, you know. Look at that. Look at all the empties.
These are the collectibles. Yeah. I mean, geez, that's with a pretty good time playing the game. Did not do very many of them all. And yeah, there's a lot of cuteness to it. Like, you have these ancient vessels, and they're all like coffee
crappy mugs.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, Denver Stadium. Yeah. You can look at the vantage points. Yeah, that is actually really good. Denver Stadium. Mile High, that is to say. And then, yeah. The Malkeet Amphitheater is what the Sterling Malkeet Amphitheater is what they call it here.
Red Rocks.
I wonder why they call it that.
That's probably what it's...
Oh, it's in Sterling. Isn't it? No, it's not Sterling. That's not Sterling. That's, yeah, Sterling's out where you are.
Sterling's.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why they're calling it the Sterling Malkeet.
It might be just who owns it or something.
That's interesting, yeah. Yeah, the mugs are funny that way. There's a lot of cute references to the world and people... It's people trying to figure out our world from an archaeological standpoint.
Yeah.
And it's as funny as you can probably think about us trying to figure out, like, deep, impactful things about societies that are long gone, you know, and how wrong we probably are about them in some ways. Let me see if I can go find, like, a
You should find some
Thunderjaw or something.
Yeah, somebody fun to.
Let's see here.
Well, we could go back to
We'll go to the Frozen Wilds in a bit here. I primarily. Ooh, let's go find a long neck.
Is there any long nets you haven't?
No,
I'm
there's
pretty
none that I
sure-
haven't done. Well, I can go. You can still climb them and
I think we should go.
say hello to 'em.
Let's go over and show them the
desert.
desert.
All right. Well, there's a long neck right here then.
And look at that, we can get one of those flower things.
Oh yeah, there's just
We
one right
never
there.
collected.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of collectibles that I just never really was interested in grabbing too much, but I'm glad they're there because there's a lot of content to do in this game, and it's good in a way. And the side quests are pretty good, and I learned to appreciate the side quests more as we went along. I didn't do them. I skipped a good few here and there, and then I started to realize that they could impact the story in pretty big ways. And the final quest of the game kind of sees a lot of your deeds come back into focus. You know, that might not be there if you didn't do the side quest.
So we went back and did the side quests.
Yeah, so then we went and did some of them. I should probably do in New Game Plus. I will for sure. And yeah, I will plan to. All right, let's see here. So now here we are. Yeah, I mean this is further west. So we just warped to here from over here, and as you can see, it's just 100% different.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is either modeled. I mean, after Monument Valley or Bryce Canyon.
this.
I think it's probably Bryce. It's got a lot of stacked, stacked rock formations.
I will note we are playing on the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is able to render the game at a higher resolution and does a little bit more in the anti-aliasing, which is taking down of kind of the rough edges and making them smoother.
You should just look at the. Just look over at that. Just so gorgeous.
This way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the atmosphere.
I mean,
of
you can
this
sit and
game.
look at everything in this game.
Oops.
Wrong arrow. And every enemy has their weaknesses. That, like those guys are quite susceptible to being shot in the eye. And then you have these snap maws over here.
Ice. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they spit ice.
And then their weakness is shock.
And yeah, and that's part of her focus. As you can see right here, it is showing me
Oh, fire.
the different weaknesses of the different
Strength
parts of her
ice.
body. So, like, I would bring out my fire arrow here.
Granted, it's also the fact that the snap maw is in the water, so it can't actually.
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
You're in the ice.
Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
here he goes. So, here goes the craziness of... This is where the game gets challenging. Because while you're attacking one guy that's, like, huge,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you have several other hostile critters coming towards you. That one's not hostile now.
Yeah, we'll go look at Tall Neck here in a second. And yeah, and as you can see, there are a lot of different weapons at your disposal. Of course, it's easy to point out her bow is her most important tool, and probably the thing that you'll use the most. But you will get things like this, the tie rope, which is used to do what I just did there. I can actually tie down creatures and kind of keep them out of the fight for a little bit. Oh, we got a Glinthawk up there. That's a fun thing to use it on.
It's too high.
Yeah. But then I also have a slingshot, which allows you to shoot off.
You never really use that.
I used the slingshot a lot earlier when I didn't have much in the way.
You froze some meat.
Keeps it good. Uh-oh. Here we go. And yeah, and then you can like tie them down like that, which allows you to figure out how you want to take them down more. And it should note that once you start damaging them, it lets them get out. So it has them bounce there. You can't just tie them down and then wail on them. You know, and then every creature drops different materials, which allows you to buy and craft different things. Like, as you can see with this tie rope here, I need both
Heavy rope.
heavy rope, or rope, and metal shards, which is the currency. So you kind of sometimes have to decide: do I want to use currency to buy things, or do I want it to build things with it? You know, and yeah, as shown before, it's really easy to change your stuff on the fly here. But you can only have 4 weapons equipped at a time, and then you can have a bunch of different weapons here. So, you know, I've been getting things from the expansion here. But yeah, you also have these, the Terra Blaster, which is like a, I really like the Terra Blaster. It's an up-close and personal weapon where you get real close to a creature, and you can blow off parts of it. Let me see if I can do it to this watcher here. This isn't the best one because, yeah, you know.
I think it's really cool and very creative in terms of the blending in terms of the style and design of both the weapons and the and what they wear.
Snap on me. Yes.
They blend parts of the machine creatures and also animal fur. In a lot of times, like the Nora is much more animal fur.
Yes.
And the Karja is much more metal.
And then the Banuk, who are kind of robot worshippers, tend to, you see them wearing a lot more robot parts and
ingraining it into their skin.
Yeah.
Which is
threading,
cool and kind of
tubing
creepy.
into their bodies.
Yeah, they actually like sew their like power source, the robot power source, into their skin.
There's the Sundom. I can't remember if there's even any. Okay, so there's
Look,
Stormbird.
we haven't even looked at that down there.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
corrupted,
zone that we never.
So I can go look at a Stormbird here. I'm trying to see if there's any Thunder Jaws. I don't remember if there's. Oh, look, a new quest.
I feel like in the area we're at right now, there's a lot of big guys.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Thunderjaw. Yeah, because there's another Stormbird. I would say that Thunderjaws are consistently the most
difficult. I don't know, the new
quest
bear
there.
character guy.
Oh, that's pretty good. You're right. Oh, right, I forgot about that metal flower.
I think the Thunderbird.
I mean,
almost
Stormbirds.
the Stormbird is almost harder,
Where is he here?
isn't it?
It could be. There's a lot of. Let's see if this Stormbird is here still, because I'm pretty sure this is one that I fought earlier. And yeah, there's a lot of degree of like kind of a monster hunter quality to some of the bigger ones. I mean, right now I am in a very late game character, so I have all the weapons, I have skills. I'll bring up the skill tree to showcase that real fast here. But you know, you're strong. You're always strong, but you don't have all the tools at your disposal from the beginning.
I mean, the very first time we had those Glint Hawks, do you remember?
Oh, the Glinthawks messed me up. Okay, so there's the Stormbird. So yeah, as you can see, you have all these skills.
Oh, we
have a
died
few
like
left.
several times. Like, there was like 5 Glint Hawks.
Oh, right.
And it was just like a continuous dying. Oh, is this the one that you had that really
Yeah,
cool...
this is the one that I had fall into the water.
on fire. It was really cool.
So you can see how little damage. I think I'm not even hitting it because this bow doesn't go far enough. Yep. So you can see, look how big this thing is. And look how little damage I'm doing to it.
I think you should shoot some of it off.
Alright, let's see if I can. Oh, come on.
Jeez.
And look at the parts fly off. It's incredible to watch.
There's some monsters where things fly off and you can use them. Like
Yes.
there's one monster that has a really big gun on it.
Yeah, a
That
Ravager.
if you can knock the gun off of it, you can then use the gun against it.
Yeah.
Which is so
Yeah,
cool.
the disc launcher.
Oh gosh, where is it? On top of you. That's where it is.
I mean, this is one of the hardest challenges in the game, is fighting a Stormbird. This is
They
good
are
footage.
so cool looking.
See if I can tie it down. Take away their ability to fly. I mean, look at this creature's design change as I pull things off of its body. Oh, I missed. I mean, again, look at its health. And again, this is with a very powerful character.
And the cool thing is this isn't like it's not like a big boss.
No.
Like this, you can choose.
You don't have to fight this Stormbird. In fact, the one time you have to fight a Stormbird, it gives you the option to run away. It says either defeat or escape the Stormbird.
But look how also, as we've talked about, how they destroy the area. See
Yeah,
how
look at these trees.
all these trees are down.
Let me see if I can pull it in a more tree-filled area. Yeah, and you always feel like you have a good ability to get away from creatures. You're never really stuck. There are parts of the game where you feel like you do have to destroy the enemies to get out of your predicament. Alright, let's see if we can get him to get in here to destroy some things. He might not want to follow me in. Come on now. Come on, big girl. And as you can see, that arrow has a range. This one has a little bit better. There it goes, see?
There it goes. See, 10 health off.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, so, and the creatures are smart. They know,
There's some more trees over in that corner. I bet
Yeah,
they
you're
would
right.
go over to that one.
the creatures are smart. They know that sometimes some places are better suited for them to fight you. So they won't always follow you into traps. Which I should note, that's another part of the game that I did not engage terribly, is there are traps. You can see in the bottom left there, you can set up traps for enemies. Oh, here we go. Because there are many times with Aloy's focus that she can see the path that the monster will take. Oh. Can I take a Stormbird? I don't think that's something I was ever able to do.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh,
No!
Darn it. stupid
Oh, I'm gonna
cow.
destroy you. Oh, this is a dangerous spot. But yeah, and then there's other weapons that are trip casters, which is basically you're setting up trip wires in the environment for creatures to run into, and it
Oh,
hurts
there's
them.
a lot of animals coming towards you.
Yep. It's yeah, this was not the best.
Oh, it's pretty over here.
It was not the best plan. I mean, I know you can see at the map, eventually you find out where different animals kind of make their nest. And this is good later, because sometimes you need certain animal parts, so you can just find out where they are and go and hunt some tramplers. And they all have pretty distinct names that really let you know exactly what their deal is from the start. A charger will run straight at you.
A trampler
yeah.
will trample you.
Yeah.
A grazer won't bother you until you bother it.
Yeah, let's see here. Can I? No, I can't.
Oh, you should go finish your Stormbird.
Oh, I'm not gonna take this thing down right now. It's gonna take way too much time. I got other things I need to show. So I should probably show some character interaction, some more character interaction.
I guess so.
So I figured it'd be good to go talk to like
Yeah, let's go to
Karja or Sunspear,
Sunspear.
or is that Game of Thrones? The Sunspear. Loading.
Blue Gleam.
Blue Gleam.
That's
Yes,
what
a
they
new thing
put.
for
They
the
put in.
for the expansion. 'Cause we'll do the Sundom here to show like the town and talking to people. Maybe go grab one of those quests to show her talk to people, and then go to the north and then call it good.
Sounds good.
Because I think we're getting close to
An hour.
an hour. Yeah, we're about 10 minutes away from an hour. There are some load times for sure. The entire world always loads, because once you're in the world, you can walk from here to there to that. This also is the entire world. I should note what you're seeing here, and it's big. Like it may not look big when you're just like panning around it like there, but it takes. If you were to start Aloy here and try to walk her all the way up to here, which is the expansion land, it could probably take an hour,
I bet.
maybe longer.
Maybe longer. Because it takes like, even in the new area, it takes you a good like 10 minutes to get between towns. So
All right, so let's see. It's all right. I'm in.
we are gonna go see if we can find a quest.
All right, so let's see here. I actually don't know if there are any quests in here, but I'm here and I'll go talk to people. Because this is I'd call this the biggest city in the game. This is the capital of the Karja, who are probably the most prominent tribe.
Yes, I remember you. Did you find the vessels I seek?
You know, people are often putting her.
Well, her eye looks really
Yeah,
weird right now.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on there.
I have work to do.
That's
Oh,
weird.
I do have vessels to trade in. And typically, this is what the collectibles are. You trade them in for
Cool
rewards.
stuff. Look at that.
Is that just like? Is that what her eye looks like with this helmet on at all times?
I don't know.
Capable. You might do. Come here.
No, I think that was just a weird trick of the light.
It's like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I think
let's
it's
see if
really
we can
cool
go.
too. I know you said that it was similar to
The Witcher 3.
The Witcher in terms of people are having conversations just off to the side, and you can kind of join in on the conversations, but they're like they're talking mid conversation.
Yeah.
Or they're like, there's a play that's like when you walk in
Yeah,
the
we
middle
can
of
go
a
show that
play,
And sit down and watch it.
and then you can sit down and watch it, and then
Yeah, it's not happening for you. You're just an observer in the world.
it's very enthralling.
All right, this is like the final quest. I probably shouldn't talk to Avad. Hopefully I can say no. Hey, I need to do other things first. Hold on, bud.
Well, then why are you going up here?
Because I wanted to talk to people.
But
And
if you're gonna
Avad's,
talk to Avad, then Avad's gonna reveal something.
No, that's true.
If we don't want it to
Alright,
be
so-
super spoilery.
Here's a quest right here. Wow, is this a place I never went?
Yep.
This is totally a place I never went. Alright, so let's see here. Directly behind me. Is there an elevator here? Did I just...
Or a jump spot.
Ugh. No, we have this like aqueduct there. That's what it is. Yeah, there's apparently a whole city over here, or a little village that I never went to. Here, we'll just,
Yeah, we'll have to go to the
here.
aqueduct.
oh,
Oh, we couldn't just jump on the aqueduct.
it
and
wouldn't let me jump
walk
over.
around?
It wouldn't let me jump over.
Darn it.
Yeah, I know.
That is one thing. It's not quite Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Twice.
So there's a lot of times where, since these two games came out so recent, in near the same time, that you will try to do one thing in the other that you can't do in that one, that you can do in the other one. For instance, sometimes you'll be chased by a monster and be like, oh no, I'll just climb up this cliff to escape it. And you'll just run up and, slide off of it because Aloy can't climb any cliff that she sees.
Yeah,
as cool as Aloy is.
She has to have these little grapples,
Yeah.
and they're like usually painted white or
Yeah.
yellow, kind
Or
of subtly,
exactly, yeah.
in order for you to know that
Yeah.
you can climb it.
Or, you'll be like, oh, I want to go down and see what's going on over there. And you'll just go and jump off a cliff just to Aloy's death because you forgot that you don't have a magical paraglider that allows you to go anywhere. And as you can see, there's stuff just always on the ground to pick up that are for crafting, medicine, medicinal herbs that just go into your medicine pouch that at any time you just press up and it just starts healing her. But you can also craft potions, which are instant.
It's cool too because it's not like like at the very beginning you're a little kid and your Rost is teaching you about plants.
Yeah,
like,
your surrogate father.
It's really cool because every skill that you have, it seems like you would have
learn
gotten
those
it.
things. Yeah.
Like,
she lived her life as an outcast up to her late teens, as we're to assume she is here. So she had to learn how to live on her own in a lot of ways. I'm gonna put her back into her standard outfit to get some footage of that.
all right, we've never been here before,
Got a
and
new-
look at this. It's
got a
so
new
pretty.
campfire. Let's go see these people. Oh, how much I didn't do. Alright, so let's see it. Let's get some... Oh, it's an Oseram village.
Nice. We haven't actually been to an Oseram village. Oh no, we did.
We did. Our great cannon girl.
Machine riding Nora with a special speed. How lucky to come across you. I have a proposal. Come closer. Call me
Ooh, that's kind of creepy.
Okay, Fernand. What's your proposal?
During the reign of that idiot Karja king, Outlanders often hid items of value from raiders. Well, I found one.
That man has the hairiest of chests.
Oh, yeah. Robin Williams.
You probably would understand it better than I do. Unfortunately, it's too high for me to reach.
Yeah, and as you can see, like, eventually, like, Aloy receives a reputation. Like, people
Much better climber than
never
sure.
think...
Bring it back.
People never think little of Aloy for her gender.
But I see what it is first.
Is something I see. I can't say that ever happens in this game. And no, I never see women looked down upon for the gender in this game.
My eyes are up here.
No, the queen is slightly looked down upon, the Karja queen.
Yeah.
How does it work?
You stick the pointy end into the machine.
Yes, but how does it turn foe into friend?
It's simple, really.
Yes?
You wouldn't understand.
So there you go. Aloy is relatively coy
Yeah.
in some regards.
She's
Sell high.
she's not cold, but she's not warm either.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
find
Sarcastic, coy.
as well.
But she's never
Dry humor.
but she's never mean.
What do I need to do?
The relic rests on the rise of Dusk Mesa. Bring it to me at the Meridian Docks, and we'll both profit.
We'll see about that.
Alright, so now we'll go talk to the other person. And yeah, the quest system I think could have been a little bit better. Because they put there's things called errands and then there are side quests, which I find to be a little confusing sometimes. And then once you have one selected, it's the only one you see on the map. And it, draws you a direct line of how to get to it. I kind of wish that you at all times could see which quests were
Quest is
closest, and then you could highlight them here and then know which the quest is.
Because I will say that map gets really confusing.
I mean, look at this. Look at
There's
this.
so much.
I will note, at any time you can turn off elements that you don't think you need. Like, I don't need cauldrons anymore.
Well, maybe. Are you sure you've gotten all the cauldrons?
Yes. All the cauldrons are done on this one.
And you can turn off tall necks for sure.
Yeah,
So you
tall
turned
necks.
off
I
all
don't need
tall
tall necks
necks.
anymore, and things like that. But it's still, look how it still is the campfires, or turning off the machines is probably a big one. But you kind of like to know what those machines are. So yeah, it can get a little busy in that regard. They do a thing here where it's just like it shows you how far away you are from each quest at any given time.
Where?
The feet. The little feet.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of use that to say, like, look, this one's 51 feet away. So, you know, now you know that this one is just right here. And this is, of course, the quest that this guy just gave me. So we can go, just go look into there.
Isn't what the guy just gave you an errand?
Oh, did he? Well, this must be a different quest. And then here's another one.
Leave me alone. Can't you see I'm searching the water?
Okay, what's wrong? Has someone fallen in?
No. Have you seen a girl of about 17 and... I can't even say it.
Are you afraid she jumped to her death?
I don't know. Elida. My only daughter. She's gone.
Who else is searching for her?
I demanded the guards look for her, but I can't put my hope in them. They say girls run off all the time at this age. Not my Elida. I've reached out to her friends, but they say they haven't seen her in weeks. Weeks! How could I not know? But they will look for her. I've searched everywhere, and then I thought maybe she might be here, in the water. By the sun!
I will say, as much as I do like some of the acting and voices and things like that, a lot of the conversations are just back and forth. You know, Aloy's face talking, person's face talking, Aloy's face talking. A lot of games have started doing things where they put action into it. You know, a character will walk over to a thing and, you know, like interact with it while they're talking, or like sit down and, you know, have a little bit more body acting.
Yeah, that is kind of lacking in this.
Has she done or said anything?
And there are lots of cutscenes where, you know, action does happen, but they're usually different from these conversation scenes.
What changed?
I don't know. She disagrees with me about everything. Hates the ceasefire. Thinks we never should have fought the war to begin with. It's been a month since I've seen her smile. She spends so much time in her room. I should have paid more attention.
Jeez, look at the detail in that. I mean, this is obviously a character that is for a side quest.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's really important
we never met
about
this character.
guy.
We never met this character in the entirety of the standard game. We've beaten the game, I should note. Yeah, as we've said, you know, we've beaten the main campaign.
But
Did a fair amount of side quests, but as you can see in our list, of course, not all of them, and of course we're even getting new ones.
Good tracker. I could look for her.
But look at the detail in, like, the guy's hat.
Yeah,
Like, the lace.
the little ropes. Yeah,
The ropes. I mean, these are the little, you know, circuitry boards that are on his suit. Like, and that's a Karja,
yeah.
right?
That was definitely a Karja guy. Yeah. All right, now we'll go to the Frozen Wilds. We'll go far north. And you will be hearing maybe a little cute dog in the background.
Who's upset that he's outside? Sorry. Maybe he'll be quiet if I let him in.
And again, as mentioned, loadings can be pretty dramatic sometimes. Still faster than if you just tried to walk. But perhaps less interesting.
Alright.
So now we are in the Frozen Wilds, which was the DLC that just came out in November of 2017.
And I think even in this, as an expansion, I think they still updated things in terms
They
of
did. I
how
wouldn't be surprised.
you interact with the world.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's one of those bear creatures now. Oh, no, that's not a bear one. That's
Yeah,
a...
those are sawtooths. Sawteeth. And as you can see, her clothes are already starting to gather frost. And her boots are covered in snow.
Oh, you have to show them the snow angel.
Oh, yeah. Here. I feel bad for her. Let's get her in her warmer clothes. There is no, like, worry. Like, I mean, you can put Aloy
In a Karja.
yeah, in this outfit, and she'll be fine, you know, with
Eventually-
her exposed belly and arms and neck and legs, her thighs.
She does sometimes make comments about, oh, it's really
She does that
very
even if
cold,
it's-
but like she does that even if she's in whatever outfit she's in.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Oh no.
Oh, wrong way.
Her legs are
This steep incline might always make it go wrong. Oh, there she goes.
I like how her boob plate is still
Yeah,
out.
the one thing that's sticking out.
That's great.
Let's see here. Alright, let me get her back in. Right, I forgot to put in, like, good stuff to that outfit. And yes, there's, like, crafting, travel kits, ammo, upping your carrying capacity, and it's usually through hunting animals and other monsters, robots, traps and potions. And then typically with your outfits, it's just putting in augmentations. Like this here. Like adding stealth and things like that. I'll wait till I can pull out those other ones before I really use that one. Let's see if I can do this here. Look at that. Look at that, it's just snow, just...
Yeah, it reacts to your, like, I mean, I've never seen.
There you go, and look. Grass sticking out through the snow.
Yeah, that you've revealed by kicking it.
Yeah, like, perfectly pure snow.
Yeah, you should slide. Ah, there wasn't snow. There wasn't any grass under that. There's rocks.
There we go. And look at that. I mean, like, and it tracks everything that I do here. Hold on, I want to see if this...
No, it just hurts you. Oh. Poor little goat.
That survived.
Oh man, and now the wind's picking up and it's
Yeah.
picking up a little bit.
The sound design is amazing in this game. I think this is something we just talked about, though. One of the only things is it has some good music. It has some good themes, but they're a little too standard. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Kind of standard orchestrated themes. And they're not bad. They're very good. But in this year, just being good doesn't make it stand out as much as I would have liked.
Bony meat.
Bony meat. Bony meat, bony meat. Won't you be my bony meat? And then, yeah, I mean, just look at this amazing new area that they added. And yeah, we have theorized that this is supposed to be like the Yellowstone volcano. That has since erupted since the post-apocalypse happened.
Maybe that's why Denver's closer to the mountains. Maybe there's more mountains.
Everything shifted. But yeah, and then as I said, like, you just get these moments like this where you're just like, oh, well, that's a great looking scene. And yeah, you can take Aloy out of it. You can add little borders.
Hearts! Oh!
There we go. You can let people know what game you're playing.
It's Instagram.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
There we go.
It's so silly.
So that's Horizon Zero Dawn. There's probably 100 things about it that we forgot to mention, because it's stupendous, and I look forward to everything that they're doing. This is the engine that's going to be used to make the new Hideo Kojima game, so I'm pretty excited about that. They even have some hints of Death Stranding, the new game, from him in here.
Really?
Yeah. They're really small. They're not like, they're just little collectible items.
I think as far as
Which ones are they?
I feel like visually this was the most interesting game that they could have done. So intricate in every design aspect. Every character is unique. Like, you won't find the same character.
No, it's very true. Then there's a lot of different people, and they all have different motivations and character arcs.
And there's a lot of different things that make it interesting to just how you fight the monsters, how the monsters change as you fight them.
Yeah, I should. Let me do one last pass to see if I can find a Thunderjaw.
Well, why don't you fight one of the bears up here?
I want to show off a Thunderjaw, is why.
Okay.
Because the Thunderjaw is the most terrifying of all. And I just don't think that they actually are in the just normal world ever. I think they are only ever in events, you know, story-based things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, so maybe I might need to come back to get some footage of a Thunderjaw at some point. I mean, basically picture a giant dinosaur T-Rex. You know. As terrifying as that sounds, it's exactly as terrifying. Maybe there's one in this corrupted zone. We'll go check real fast, and then we'll call it good.
I guess you're right. The bears are not necessarily as frightening. Because, you know, you can actually kill, like, 2 or 3 bears at the same time. If there was 3 bears at the same time, or 3 Thunderjaws at the same time, I think, like, they didn't create that for a reason.
I think we fought 2 at one point. I think that's it. So yeah, one more bounce across the length of the map.
One more load.
Yeah.
Honestly, there is not that much load time. When you really think about us, like, in actual gameplay, you don't, because you're not bouncing around as much as you would normally. Like, we're playing through the winter expansion, and, whoa, oh, because it's corrupted. Whoa. forgot what that guy's called. Rock Breaker.
Okay, I mean, this is good.
Yeah, and so, in a corrupted zone, you cannot overdrive any characters, any of the
Oh my
monsters.
gosh.
And this guy is awesome. I don't remember him.
I honestly don't think we ever fought one.
Oh, then there's two of them.
Alright.
Oh. We did fight one.
Yes.
I remember now. He was really difficult. It was.
We did not fight a corrupted one.
Yeah, we have not fought a corrupted one.
This is thrilling enough. Oh, I need to eat my corruption medicine.
Oh gosh.
And look at this. I'm level 50. And this was ostensibly supposed to be a level 30 something. And there you have it. So that's Horizon Zero Dawn, and not even really. Maybe I might come back and get some more cutscene stuff to throw in there. Let me check through here, because I don't think there's any way to look at the cutscenes, which might be a sad thing, because you can do that with a few other games, like Yakuza 0. I'll just be able to pull up certain cutscenes.
Which cutscenes are you thinking of?
I mean, just showing more of her talking and doing things.
Yeah, I think most of them are related to quests.
Exactly.
So if you're done with
quest.
the storyline quest, then you won't be.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly.
There's a Thunderjaw.
So yeah, I mean, and yeah, detailed breakdowns of everything that they have.
I did see a Thunderjaw thing on the map. A behemoth. I saw one of those.
All right, so it's like hunched over with the little tweelies sticking out at the back.
Tweedlies. Alright, I saw one right over there. Up. Up. Oh, yeah.
This is one right here. All right. Here's the last thing. I can have footage of fighting a Thunderjaw.
Of dying.
Honestly, I feel like I know how to fight a Thunderjaw better than I do a Rockbreaker. Because we fought at least 4 or 5 through the course of the game. And there's a lot of Monster Hunter to this aspect, is fighting these bigger ones. It's a war of attrition. You know, you're trying to figure out how to fight it at the same time as trying to figure out how to survive it. And it's where traps come in a lot more. Setting up the traps really helps.
And also being aware, because when you're fighting one big beast, as you saw with the Thunderjaw, or the Stormbird.
And the Stormbird, yeah.
While you're fighting one big beast and you're focusing on him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's 3 of them here. Oh.
Are there?
There's at least one there. Then there's another one right there. This is just a Thunderjaw nest. Yep, there's 2, at least.
I want to see if I can,
What? You want to over... Well, you have to hide him. Hide and try and overdrive. Oh, is there any green or red? Oh, it's over. Yes. This will be fun. Now
The
we
only downside is I can't
write it.
ride it. Now we can have a Thunderjaw versus Thunderjaw fight.
Oh, here comes. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. All right, Thunderjaw.
Defend my honor.
Oh, he's fighting a little guy.
These are some of the most intense fights. I mean, imagine if a T-Rex could fire
Yes.
right its little...
Yes. Go for it. Yes. Destroy it. This is one of those cool ones where it has the weapons that you can hopefully get if it knocks it down.
Oh boy.
Ow. You're between a rock and a hard place.
Very hard. Oh, now here comes its UFOs.
Oh yes, its heart is open.
Yep.
Ouch. 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 Just the way that that cactus exploded just makes me happy.
My Thunderjaw is off fighting the other monsters. I need to free him. There we go.
Come on, Thunderjaw.
It is tearing it up.
Yes.
That was...
A brilliant fight maneuver.
that felt good.
So then you just got a little friendly dude.
Yep.
He's your friend. You know, he's still slightly destructive.
What are the yellow? Ah. As you can see, she kind of jumps over some things in the landscape.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to be able to be friends with a big buddy like that
Yeah. The only downside is not riding it, but we can only hope
someday.
someday.
Yeah, you can only ride a few different kinds. There's like the one that looks like a bull and then the one that looks like a ram. And can you ride the one that looks like a stag?
I think so, yeah.
And those are the only three then.
Yep. I
Right.
should probably save, since I probably got cool stuff. Do 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 do. And again, here's the desert at night. Everything looks great.
Yeah, we haven't really rid. There we go. Oh yeah, there's this guy too.
Longhorn. And yeah, riding animals is a big part of it. That thing that I can do, calling an animal, is a power up. Usually you have to take
Learn
over.
how to overdrive
Yeah.
and then overdrive your animals. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Pretty
And,
game. Engaging story. Amazing visuals.
And easily one of the best games of the year.
Very unique designs. Yeah,
And that's
probably my favorite game of the year for
Yes.
sure. I spent 80 hours on making a costume, so yeah. All right. Bye.